and welcome to the Great Debate. It is Monday. It is the 19th of March today. Rajin, how are we doing? Welcome. I have myself a fun new layout. I hope everybody likes it. Daryl, how are we doing? Now check this out. As the chat scrolls through, all the important stuff is going to end up down here on the bottom. And then as it goes through, it's going to come up on the left-hand side. So, I'm still working on this. What I did was Friday after the show, I deleted everything in OBS and I started over. So, I really do hope you guys like this. I've put a lot of work into it. And, without further ado, how did I set up the board to go? Alright, here we go. Does that look cool? Does that not look cool to you guys? I think that looks pretty cool. Hey Lacey, welcome to the chat. How are we doing today? I do not have any guests lined up because I have been putting this back together all weekend along with some IRL shit. And we all know how real life goes. It's more important than what we do on the computer. So, with that being said, I've gotten quite a bit done, but I haven't lined up any guests. I haven't gotten anything else really set up. So we're going to play based on those of you who happen to show up today. We're going to take this as a nice, easy show and play with this new layout and show you guys what it has. It's only lightly on fire. It'll be okay. It's a chalkboard. It shouldn't burn too bad. What I want to do is, again, I'm going to try and start aiming for 5 topics. I've worked on adjusting how the board works. I've worked on the colors of the board. I worked on resetting the whole OBS, creating some new stuff, getting some new stuff, making it look different, playing with some new techniques. And then this morning I had to download an update for OBS. So I'm hoping it didn't screw anything up. I did, but then my audio didn't work right before the show. So, here we are. We're going to do this the best we can, and we're going to rely on the chat to throw me today's first topic, and then we will just run with it. I do ever so like the look of my new board without the blue. The blue was starting to bother me. Let's see. Also, I had a new subscriber yesterday, so let me show you where the new alert box is. It's that other little one you see there. Why, there it is. There it is. I think that looks cool down there all by itself. Although one of the problems I have is that if somebody does happen to donate, I can't read the text at the bottom. So now I have another window on my side to have open so I can read what people send me as a message. So mind you, I'm trying to keep my chat. I'm always keeping my chat in mind because I don't always have guests. Still looking for that first subject. We're going to click on this board today. Welcome all new viewers who are in the chat. Under the sex topic, everybody wants to see what's under the sheets. Oh, sorry, Lacey Ann was first with sex. Mental illness and young love change the age. In some cases, people are deemed ready to have sex. Is age the best prerequisite? Did I spell that right? Yes, I did. If not, it's not universal. Or is age the best prerequisite if it's not universal? So, hopefully not everybody is privy to all the information that I have. Welcome, data. But I'm sure we've all seen some of the stuff going on this weekend, and yes, I will say I do watch, what is her name? Christy Winters. I watched a Christy Winters stream posted on somebody else's page, the music whatever guy. I tend to periodically go through and look for opposing opinions, views, and things. So, Yes, it is. And we've talked about age of consent, but I want to look at this differently. This time I want to bring in the question about someone's mental acuity and age as seen by other people. So this whole JF and Andy thing has really sprung up, and I figured this would be a good topic to throw in here, but look at it not according to the people, but according to the actions. Welcome, Tim. How are we doing today? Some people are labeled with mental disorders that prohibit them from being, I guess, what would be normal among 7.5 billion people. They change the way that people see life, and it can be interpreted that they don't see it at the age that they actually are. So some of you are obviously going to know where I'm going with this. If a adult at the age of roughly 20 has the intellect and mental distinguishment of a 10 or a 12-year-old child, but has the body and the chemicals and everything of an adult, are they a child or are they an adult? It's, again, yes, it does get into, I will read this list again. Interesting. I know a man who has married and had children with a disabled woman who was legally mentally 12 years old. I thought it was atrocious, but who is to say disabled people can't procreate? The short school bus crowd. Sort of, yes. So here's the dilemma. You often see, let's use that term nicely if we can, you often see people who rode the short bus with other people who rode the short bus, and you think they do belong together. They fit in more aspects of their life than a mentally challenged person and a non-mentally challenged person would fit together. But at what point do you say that they have the ability to choose what to do with their life? So I have a 11-year-old son. At this time in life, would I let him go out and do stupid things? No, I still have control over it. But at 18, if my son still thinks like an 11 or 12-year-old, do I control everything he does, or do I allow him to grow? One of the things tossed into the conversation was ability to understand certain things and not others. And it starts to get into a whole bunch of blurriness. Now, it is animal instinct to want to do certain things. It's animal instinct to want to procreate, to want to feel good, to want to have sex. It is what people are built for. I have given this much thought, and I don't know what's right, to be honest. I don't think a capable person should marry someone who is mentally a child. Okay, so let's look at that. How do you determine somebody is mentally in all facilities a child? And if you do, are you basically then determining that nobody can make the choice because it's not right for somebody else to make the choice for them as to who to be with? But should somebody else be responsible for making the overall choice of whether or not that person's happy with somebody? Should that person then not be allowed to have a happy relationship or a relationship at all because other people deem that person's not ready for it? Are you happy? There is no right. Okay, there is the are you happy? Yes. So if you can ask this question of a 16-year-old girl, and you can ask this question of a mentally handicapped 26-year-old girl, which one's answering with the proper answer? Are they both ill-equipped to make that answer? This is the problem. This is how I see it. If you decide that a woman or a man, it doesn't matter, if you decide that a person of a certain age still isn't allowed to make decisions based on what they want to do with their life, that somebody has to oversee everything and be in charge of everything, then that person is running the handicapped person's life. And that is power over somebody. People of all ages, and I'm not an advocate for child molestation porn or anything like that, but I was 15. I know people who were 12, 13. I don't think it's right, but every person has their own desires, and you grow up differently and you see things differently. And just because somebody doesn't mentally develop with the acuity to be able to distinguish rocket science from molecular physics, or geometry from spatial recognition, just because their brain cannot understand some things in the way others can, doesn't mean they shouldn't be allowed to have a life. Would I want them to have a child? Okay, so that's another, that gets even fuzzier. So that's way past this. No, some of them can't care for a child, and that's where the help comes in. You basically at one point have to decide, is it okay to tell a person that what they want isn't what they're going to get for the rest of their life? At what point does that person get the freedom to choose their own life? At what point does that person get to argue against what is being said? If they're deemed to have a childhood understanding, even the courts aren't going to want to listen to what they're saying. Well, is that an episode of House, and the dad asked his brain-damaged son if he is happy with his life, and the kid says, "Are you happy?" I don't know, I didn't see that episode. Pardon me. I did find the conversation, and I didn't get through the stream entirely. I have it set to finish watching, and I will finish watching it because I want to see what the rest of the outcome on that was. Just for the perspective point of view, along with their opinions and everything. I don't listen. I can't say I don't listen. I listen to the argument. I listen to the people putting their perspective in, the differences between them, and I try to pick out the information as opposed to the people, and then look at it from other perspectives. So, age right now is our universal, let's set it like this is about how we're going to do things, but that's for Western world. We do know there are other societies that don't worry so much about age. There's also societies that don't worry about intellect or ability or cognition. It wasn't thought about it wasn't thought about 100 years ago whether people had rough intelligence or a certain criteria before they were allowed to get married or have kids. That's saying that the government or governmental institutions, or people with the power of governmental institutions, can go through and say that somebody isn't allowed to do inherent animalistic tendencies that they should be able to do, if that makes sense. Now, again, not advocating for pedo here, but if it is an adult and they're of a certain age, some account has to be taken and allowed for that person to be able to have a life. And granted, it may be difficult, but the whole point is to assist people, not to prohibit them. No data. Honestly, the man and the woman I mentioned earlier did have children, and those children are extremely disabled, deaf, blind, and deformed. The mother was severely disabled, and the man was capable. The part of the pedo thing is that typically power play, and children aren't physically able to handle owning with an adult. Okay, and yes, we understand both of those. However, if you do a little research, look into the United States law, and the actual U.S. law says that no child under 12 can have sex with any person over 18. Marriage isn't difficult. No, marriage isn't difficult. And to tell somebody you love them, now, you have to understand, at what point is it anybody's permission or ability to say somebody disabled is going to have another disabled or worse disabled child that they shouldn't have children, or somebody disabled can't understand what they're doing and shouldn't be able to have some sort of intercourse or relationship with somebody? At what point do you take a person's civil liberties and pursuit of happiness away? And that's where the argument comes in. And I can't honestly say yet, without a little more looking into it and some more research, where I fall on this. Yeah, that's true. And inherent animalistic nature would throw a deformed baby bird out of the nest to die. Or, honestly, there are a lot of animals that would kill babies they wouldn't believe would be healthy offspring. And there are healthy people who have disabled children, so you can't exactly say that it's only disabled people that are going to have disabled children. It's really hard, and I thought this was a good one to throw in there, especially since sex is in the hot topics categories. It's not as funny and friendly, but this is definitely a good topic to talk about. It's something, when I saw it come forward and I saw enough information, I thought it was best to put it up here and look at it, try to take an abstract view of this, and see what some other inputs were. And obviously it stays a clouded thing. I don't think anybody in here is dead set at one way or the other on how age being the best prerequisite, or, discounting the fact of a person's liberty in pursuit of happiness. I'm an American. Those are good words we like to use. You're never going to be right because it's always going to be something wrong. True. Again, from perspective, how are you looking at it? What is the end goal? And personally, as a non-religious person who believes that when I die, it's over and my life on earth is limited, I want to make sure I enjoy the time that I have. I'm married, I have kids, I've tried to be happy, I'm doing what I'm supposed to, but at the same time, if I wasn't allowed to do that because I wasn't as smart or didn't understand something, would that be okay? Would it be all right for the government to say that I don't know how to do molecular physics, so therefore I shouldn't be allowed to procreate right now? So that's a real hard thing to say. The government right now says 18. So if the government says 18, somebody at 19 who doesn't know how to do geometry, are they still 19? And they're saying no, they're mentally at. But they're physically at this age, and that's what they say is allowed. Oh, but they're mentally at this age, so we're going to retard their actual age back to their mental age because we don't want them to be able to do something. That's somebody stepping in and taking over and eliminating the pursuit of happiness. Maybe not in that context, but that's how I see it. And no, a universal setting wouldn't work for everyone. That's why laws are so complicated. All right, I could go back and see what people rattled out, or we could get the first topic that somebody throws in that chat. Also, I want to state this for anybody watching now or anybody watching later, if they watch later. I have absolutely no problem if once a question comes up and off of this board, you use it in your own show, own stream, own context. Tag me, I will come take a look. I definitely want to hear more about it. My show is to start the conversation, to find a way to open it up, to look at it differently, and then it's up to other people to continue the conversation and bring in more points of view. Should schools teach classes on survival training and basic survival techniques, like how to tell plants, berries, and animals, etc.? So this one I thought was cool. We have the light talk about how things could go wrong. And I'm always worried about what are kids being taught in school, how useful is it, and what good is it. And we've talked about how after school curricular activities and sports and things like that are good. They help with the development of a child. And going through school, you learn all sorts of stuff about science and history and math, and you learn how to progress. But something that a lot of people don't learn is we used to be animals, and we have the ability, capability, and possibly a future of living off the land. And some of these inherent things that we've learned over time, very basic things, most people think is disgusting or unruly because they never learned that we've already been through all this. We learned all this, and the fact that we've learned all this can help change the way we see the world. So if you learn a few things from maybe a few hundred years ago, how people evolved from this to that, or what we used before, hey, this is how you make charcoal. Hey, let's say the power goes out and your cell phone's dead. This is a cool way to get a small amount of charge. Or stupid little real life things that would help somebody should anything ever go wrong in their life. Realistic things that would have been learned 50, 100, 150 years ago. As sad as that sounds, 50 years ago, people would have been taught more about how to tie knots, how to start fires, how to fish than they are now. 100 years ago, people were taught how to live off the land, how to find seeds, find berries, what to be able to eat if you get stuck somewhere without food, if you're lost in the woods. Alright, let's catch up on this chat because I see a whole bunch flying in and by. How do you guys like the new chat setup? The important stuff shows up on the bottom and then it just scrolls up and away. I think that's cool. It was sort of what I was going for. Alright, yes, absolutely, my daughter's school is like that. A nature-based school. Schools should not be required, but the children has a base under... Schools should not require that, but children should have a base understanding. No furry classes. Yes, they teach them in Boy Scouts, which is now Boy, parenthesis, Girl, and parenthesis, Scouts. Hey, NumbedSkull, you want to send me the link over on Discord, and I will jump in and join you. Hey, Tim, where are you on my Discord? Are you yellow or green? You'll have to tell me where you are. Oh, do I already have you in messages, maybe? Let's check. Tim, don't you have another name on Discord? No. Let's see. Nightbot, why not? It used to be the standard procedure before going to schools, became based on rolling out cookie cutter grunts to stand in line and grab a rifle and shoot. Your basic survival training would help them in their adult life. I'm not even saying that. I'm saying that kids are raised now with cell phones, computers. Half of them don't even know how to use pens and pencils by the time they get out of high school. Some of these things need to be retaught to people. We got to where we are in life by... Oh, there he is. There he is. And we'll copy a link over here. I apologize. I know you guys can hear that clicking. And I'm not happy about it, but I'm looking for a mic I would be happy, or a mic stand that I'd be happy with before I go ahead and order it. And Tim Gersh will join us here in just a minute. Writing by hand does suck, but it happens. How many creative thinkers are we going to create in school if we're teaching them all of this new stuff and we're not teaching them as much about where we came from? And yeah, I use Google. I happily use Google. But what if people are getting systematically dumber because they're not being taught how we got to where we are? All right. How does that saying go? If you don't know your past, you're destined to repeat it. If you don't know your past, how are you supposed to know how you got to where you are? We constantly look for how did we get there. So why aren't we teaching people how we got there? Ding, 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 data. Oh yeah, the timer is up. I know. You know me. I took the timer off just to make it... School is designed to keep us in line. Literally, they only give the idea that they're educating. Yes, it is turned into a streamlined process. There's the little, strands that go off the side of the rope, but everybody just follows the rope from one end to the other. Learn this, pass this test. Learn this, pass this test. Learn this, pass this test. There's very little critical or abstract thinking done in schools these days, and that's starting to spread to college as the students get there learning what they didn't learn in high school. Yeah, and this is why I believe the schools is a good discussion to be had, because if they did start teaching more kids how we got to where we are, how did we learn that, sticking a rock and you heat it up fast enough, it'll make fire? How did we learn that? How is it people don't know how to start a fire? How do you not know how to start a fire without a lighter and a match? I haven't been able to do it in years, but I used to be able to do it. I'm sure if I had to live off the land, I could, but for how long? What have I learned that'll help me? What about somebody else? What have they learned that'll help them? Why haven't I learned it? What can we do to make students learn some cool things that they might already need to have known in a different time maybe, but might, as they get older, help them apply different types of knowledge to a situation and bring up something good because they learned things that weren't learned for a while. Maybe we need to go back to things. Maybe people looking at the again part of Make America Great Again is we took out all this stuff that was good trying to get rid of the bad stuff. How about we figure out what was good and put it back? All right. Let us move to another topic. Here we are about halfway through the show and we've got 2 done. And we're not too far off course. I gotta say, guys, I really think I know I'm not watching. But I am looking at my screen, and on my screen, that cool little bit of fire ever so brushing the bottom of the board just looks so cool to me. I'm sorry. Of course, I did spend 2.5 days working on this, so damn well better look cool. Humankind is fucked. I want to say there was a question in here about that somewhere. Dun 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 dun. Can you guys find the question about humanity being fucked? It actually came up on a live stream last night. If anybody pays attention to everything going on, I try. I don't always. But if I don't catch a live stream, I will go back and rewatch it, sometimes at fast speed, so I can get more of them in. There's another topic up here that has to do with mankind and outcomes and things like that. Stripper heels, maybe for another day. So what topic are we going to discuss next while I sit here and stare at the board? I lost somebody. I lost a couple people. That or YouTube's kicking people out of my room. I don't know. We all got real things to do. I understand some of you can't wait to, or some of you can't hang out for the whole stream. That's fine. But again, I try to run a short stream so that more people get a chance to catch it. Dun 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 dun. Or was your high heels comment platforms? I got it as it popped up on my stream. How is a platform supposed to tell the difference from trolling and threatening? The bots? This is a very important one. And it was funny because, again, I try to keep up on a lot of different creators even if I don't agree with what they have to say. Especially if I don't agree with what they have to say. And I had typed this question in this morning and went out to take my short cigarette break before I start my stream. And I was watching Tree of Logic had put a short video up on how she was suspended from Twitter for calling she believes for calling somebody grandpa. Which made me think this was a cool question because I had just written it this morning. Trolling. Let's discuss what trolling is. Okay, so people want to get on the internet and they want to incite anger, laughter, a little bit of comedy, just personal thrills at getting somebody riled up. That's a bot. Or that's a... that's a troll. If you're just on there to rile somebody up, to start something, having fun, not so much for, personal entertainment and consumption purposes, more for, I'm going to be an ass and see who enjoys it, because I know I will. That's trolling. So, how do you tell the difference between trolling somebody and being threatening or harmful or harassing? Is calling somebody a racist grandpa trolling? And it's funny how the event I'm using to support what I'm talking about happened after I wrote the question. That happens quite a bit. That means the question's good. How do you tell the difference? If somebody threatens your life on Twitter and you don't know who they are and they don't know who you are, or you're pretty sure they don't, do you take it seriously? I'd kill you if I knew where you lived. Is that serious? Is that trolling? Is saying that some big motherfucker should punch you in the face, is that a threat? Is that trolling? If you use keywords and you have the bot take keywords like my chat does, and you have it auto respond by deleting or suspending or checking into counts, is that the right way to combat it? How do you use that bot to decipher the difference between what's trolling and being aggravating and what's all of a sudden a threat, an intimidation tactic, or something to actually scare the person? How do you find that fine line? Because for everybody, that line lands in a different place. I don't ever intend to meet anybody I ever speak to on the internet. That's my goal in life. Leave me alone. I'm here because I'm here for me. I hope you guys enjoy it. But I have family. I have things to do. They're more important to me. This is an extra. So if I jump on here and say a bunch of shit and people threaten me, I'm just going to turn my computer off and walk away. It's not going to bother me. But to somebody else who also does this, but does this for a living and makes their primary income, and you start giving them a bunch of shit and threatening their channel and shutting them down, are you trolling then? Or have you crossed into the line of threatening? It's a threat. Trolling should be funny. Okay. If I say some big motherfucker should beat the hell out of you when they see you next, is that me threatening you? Because words that I use in there are intimidating and threatening. Another philosophical one. The individual determines whether they're being harassed or not. Laws are intervening, but I find that dangerous as mean words are being legislated. Yes. And on platforms, we find this to be a huge case. People are getting banned, suspended, timed out, whatever you want to call it, because they decided they don't agree with a word or a term or something derogatory that was used against them, or somebody else decided something they used was wrong. And how is it being monitored? There's no set down plan about what's being done. It's, I took offense, I reported this, they got suspended. If Twitter believes certain words were present in there, then that fell into their categories and that person's permanently suspended. How do you make these determinations across such a broad field? Welcome, Tim. Whoop, you got headphones in, bud? Oh, they can't. Let me make it so they can hear you. I forgot to turn that on. There we go.
Yeah, right. Can everybody hear me now?
Can we get a check on that? Everybody heard him okay in the chat? Yeah, that's another one, Data. Some people may find something funny because of the context it was put in, or a word pun that they caught, while another person may not catch that context or that word pun and not find it funny, find it actually threatening. It's really hard to just throw out a random statement that could be both sides, that could be threatening by one and funny by another without developing the context to follow it. I've been accused by Prince of Queens of being paid to harass him simply because I criticized his opinion or something, yet he continued back and forth with me. Something I want to start doing this week is I'm going to start looking at people that I watch that I don't necessarily agree with. I'm not going to follow any trends. I'm going to start inviting people like Riley Dennis and Steve Shives if I can get a message through to him on Twitter, because Riley and Steve were the first people to ever block me, and Riley unblocked me, so I'm going to send messages out to people. I encourage you guys, just in a nice way, if you see someone that might benefit from just having a real life talk on a show about down to earth things, I'd appreciate just spreading the link. But with that, we have a guest, and the guest gets to pick the next topic. So, what would you like to talk about?
Yeah, let's see here. What should I pick? Yeah, well, I think you know me well enough to know I'm gonna say that stupid LGBT thing.
If the end goal of being trans with an asterisk, is to transition to the opposite sex. Shouldn't the final step be a full transition, as opposed to sitting somewhere in the middle?
Well, alright, let's look at this, like chemistry. And well, yeah, simple enough, yeah, give up some other poor things to train, circulate into the freezer. It's gonna transition to ice. It's not gonna get cold and say, yeah, you know what, plate's good enough. I can start demanding everybody use its preferred pronouns because that's just stupid.
I understand, Lacey. I'll do my best. What he's saying is it's really. Some people sit in the middle and they make the decision to be called something that doesn't seem to line up with what everybody else in the world understands. So a lot of people go into this just to, and correct me if I'm wrong, Tim, just to sit there and be special so they can ask for specific pronouns to be referred to as something.
Yeah, well, it's pretty much, right?
Yeah. No, it's not a troll, but I'm a very easygoing kind of guy, so I don't mind if somebody has a hard time trying to formulate or say their opinion. I'll do my best to still keep the show rolling as best I can. It is a thick accent. But we've had Tim on before. We'll make it through again. Don't worry. Where did it go? If you're accused, oh, that's on the last one. Okay. This is a difficult one, and believe it or not, I tried to sit down and catch up on a couple of Riley videos after she released one yesterday or the day before. I want to look at this in a complete text. Now, some people want to adopt these identifications for themselves just because, again, like Tim said, they want to feel special by being able to use these pronouns. But if somebody is a trans, you're a trans for the term that you're switching between sexes. And I don't think it should be used for somebody who decides at some point that no, I've got tits, I'm on progesterone, my testosterone's low, I present like I present, this is how I want to stay. There has to come a point where some of these people know that we have an understanding that people will find a spot where they feel comfortable, and that is overall what everybody wants, is to feel comfortable with who they are. We, however, don't want to misrepresent the people who sit in the middle. So, again, I go back to, I believe, non-conforming would be the best thing for somebody who decides somewhere between the transition that they belong where they found themselves and that they're happy and comfortable there. That's non-conforming, whether it be sex non-conforming or gender non-conforming or however that falls into them. An easy pull would be non-conforming, not trans. Somebody who's trans, to the best of everybody's knowledge, because trans is a transition from one to the other, is somebody who's intending to be fully one of the opposite. And people have an understanding of that, and to try and confuse it and say, no, trans doesn't mean you're going towards the opposite, it means you're somewhere between the two. That's misleading. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, yeah, I have, well, this is kind of embarrassing since I'm 33. But I sleep with teddy bears sometimes. I also have a stuffed dog with trade out for bears sometimes. And it's either one or the other. You know, they can't change, where points in the night to be, in between. I'm either gonna have one or the other. Yeah, Yeah. The whole trans thing seems stupid to me.
Did
Yeah.
I say I got tits data? Numbskull 2018. Way up in the mountains. Some can't transition for medical or financial issues. That's very true. And that's understanding. And without going into detail on how I feel about the government's obligation or somebody's obligation to help them through it, financial issues are important. Let's see. I still keep looking at the big capital. I got tits, Numbskull 2018. Yeah, I got tits. My dick's still hanging out, but I'm happy the way I am in the middle. I have three things to grab. All the
Hey,
more
yeah,
fun.
but if you're happy, that's what really matters.
Yeah.
But yeah, how's your happiness supposed to affect my language? All right. So next category.
Yep. It's up on the board. What would you like next?
Yeah, let's do something easy. Just to mix it up a bit. Yeah. I don't know. Let's do movies.
Movies is popular lately. Marvel has more movies coming out and a plan for the outcome. Where will movies go when they've exhausted the majority of the known comic universes?
Hmm. That's a good question.
Now, let me line this up for you. Well, let you develop your thought for a minute. But I just finally got to see Ragnarok the other day. Okay? And at the end of Ragnarok, I decided, okay, we're going to take a fun weekend, me and my family, and we're going to plan a Saturday and Sunday to watch, I don't know, probably like 4 or 5 videos a day, get a couple of snack meals together, and just spend some time together on one of those chilly weekends. And in looking up the videos, there's piles of them. And then you find the universe map on all the new movies coming out, and you realize that the Infinity War that's coming is one of the bigger ones. This is something they've been leading up to for a while, and there's still a bit of universe after it. But what happens when you've redone it? And you say reboots. That's already what they're doing. They've rebooted Spider-Man how many times? 3?
Hmm. It's been a couple. Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, once they reach the end of the line, they'll have to start thinking reboots. But, well, the story goes on for quite a while. The Infinity War, yeah, that was one big event. But, there's plenty of other stories going on. Plus, you've got non-canon stuff like the Punisher kills the Marvel Universe. Yeah, it was a real story. I've actually read the book, but yeah, it's not really part of the actual storyline.
I
Like it's not gonna tie in.
I think they're going to have to start to write a new type of genre of universe. Once they start to exhaust some of these superheroes and things, they're going to have to either, and this is something I was listening to in another stream, they're going to have to either create more powerful heroes and more powerful villains, which is going to be harder and harder the farther these movies continue, or they're going to have to divert into smaller worlds of the universe they're going to have to, at some point after some major war, create something that dissipates through the universe that they have to, each group will have to work to track down and figure out, that modifies through time. They're gonna have to create something. And I really think it's always good, especially with movies and things, to offer a little conjecture, to throw out ideas for people to build from.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Yeah, there's gonna be more going on after they finish Infinity War. That's not the end of the story, but yeah, because they're gonna. I don't know if y'all saw Jessica Jones or not.
I've seen the
I'm
first one.
just
I haven't watched the second one yet, but I did sit through Scribe Light's rundown of the second one.
eh, well, I'm not saying this for you, but more for everybody else. Is yeah, well, gloss over all the finite details because I don't know who has and hasn't seen it, and I'm not gonna spoil you. That bears. Let's go. But no, I'm talking about after it's over, yeah, they're building up the secret invasion, which, if you know the comics, is like in the Scrolls came there to try and take over. There's that big story going on.
Yeah, and I
Like,
like you've read a
they
lot of
have,
comics, right?
huh?
Have you read quite a few comics?
Actually, I haven't read a single one. It's just, look at all these, YouTube channels like Variant Comics and Emergency Awesome.
Yeah,
And
and
Mercenary Access.
they
Yeah,
compare
they're
the
always
different
telling
tangents
you
they all go
about.
on.
Yeah, so I know all about comics. Haven't read a single one, but I do know the exact stories.
Yeah, and some people don't realize that there's thousands and thousands of different comics out there. And just because Superman is a character, Superman's been written hundreds of different ways by dozens of different people doing tons of different things. This universe is so large that you can always reinterpret how the universe went, as long as you don't interfere with a previous storyline.
Huh. Yeah, well, thank you. Well, there's always gonna be something. Well, I personally like the stories like Civil War or Age of Ultron. Yeah, I was watching Ultron the other day, and well, it's kind of interesting. It shows we run things. You put the suit of armor around the world. Yeah, put humans in the bubble. Or do we let humans do their own thing?
Diversity Man, superhero of all colors. Coming to a theater near you. Data. That was kind of where I was originally going when I was writing the question. So a lot of people have become aware of this new footage, and there's been mild controversy on the internet over the longevity of the footage, how long it's been out, when it was posted, the accuracy, the two separate copies of the footage. So I'm assuming some people in here have seen the alien aircraft footage from 20 something, from a few years ago, that was released last month. If you
Yeah,
haven't, it is cool.
yeah, they the wasteland. I'll tell you, there was actually a superhero like into it.
Oh, the copies? Yeah, I just saw that comment pop up.
I can copy.
Loki can also do that. Although his copies aren't able to do things, they're just mirages. I honestly I hope we start seeing in movies, not towards the Star Trek, the Star Wars, and not towards the Marvel superhero universe, but let's see a little imagination as to we have aliens, that we have accounts of them visiting. We have almost 100 years of mostly unbelieved reports from Los Angeles, New Mexico, the Pacific Ocean, Russia, China, Australia, hundreds of sightings all over the world, different types of things. A lot of them can be believed to be made up. Some of them we can now say were probably true. How much information was hid? Let's do some movies based on the real probability of what's happening. Can we launch shuttles into space? Let's show a movie with people actually launching shuttles into space and what it would be like for us to space travel right now. Get ideas of what we might actually find, maybe with a little bit of threaded disbelief in there to make people want. Lord Byron, welcome to the actual chat. Let me see if I can keep up enough to get you your wrench. And believe it or not, at the beginning, I was using your subscription from my Streamlabs account to test this. So we'll do it for you because you're here. Why not? Because I think it's cool. Alright, we might have time for one more topic, Tim. What would you like to do next?
Let's do television.
Say that one more time.
Television.
Television. Will shows continue to use seasons, or will shows begin to release pockets of episodes? I may have already asked this question before. It seems familiar. If I did, oops. The Solar Warden Black Project. No, but let me write that down. Where the hell's my paper? So you brought up. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I'm not really sure about this. Could you clarify what you mean?
All right. Netflix has gotten to a very predominant habit of releasing their shows, the entire series. They're not series, the entire season all at once. And they don't necessarily call it a season, but that's kind of, or they do call it a season, but it's not what it is if they're releasing it. It's almost like, I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's something new that we really haven't seen before. But they release their shows in, all 13 at once or 5 or 6 at a time. And they release them in pockets and not on regular basis on the year.
Yeah, well, we don't have a good episode or go for it for it. So, yeah. Yeah, I'll see you soon. Works well enough. All right, what I need is clearing up. And I say it. Well, there are some shows that work as an episode at a time. Then there's well, I was watching The Walking Dead, thinking about this. Okay, again. This episode really does suck. Yeah, why can't they just put that all out there? We have the whole season. You want to watch it one episode a week. like it's fun. Or you can binge watch the whole season and like it's fine too.
So
But
this goes to, I don't mean to cut you off. This goes to how they determine who watches things also. So why can't I think of the name of the company? Every so often they send me these letters asking if we'll fill out this little form and then fill out a little booklet over what we watch, how we watch it. Statistics, the viewership of a show used to be measured by the commercials that were played over the show, the viewer time, and how many people they thought were tuning in based on who was buying certain products. The Nielsen Company, Nielsen, whatever it is. But yes, that's the one.
seeing those there. We
Um,
all know what you're talking about.
right. Now, with things like Netflix, they don't really need to get a general idea of how many people might be watching. They actually have a queue of how many people are watching the show. So if they release an entire series, it's almost like a broken up feature film. Almost, not really. And then they can go, okay, our watches on this are really high, so we should go for another season.
Well, yeah, of course, see, it's gonna differ show to show.
Well,
But, yeah, like I said, sometimes, you're better off watching everything, all at once. Yeah, but, well, I've been watching this thing on Netflix, uh, a job, something, I can't remember his last name. But he's got a show on Netflix. Well, it's every Sunday, a new episode comes out. It's kind of funny. Go check it out if you got the time.
yeah. The
And that shows go week to week. I didn't want to watch all 13 episodes of it,
yeah,
and get my overdose on.
yeah.
Oh, Saturday Night Live, it's another show. Let's go week to week. But when you go to shows like Walking Dead,
Now
they
see, there's a problem
kind of
I
binge.
yeah, you
Um,
binge watch them. And the problem I see is um by binge watching and getting this whole packet or this whole season at once, you're doing away with what was previously done, but only to a point. So we remember episodes that partway through the season the network would decide the show is no good and they'd cancel the last 5 episodes and you'd be left with something that didn't make sense. Now, if they release the packet and the last episode leaves you cliffhanging to want another season and they never release the next season, you're left wanting. So they've kind of transferred that a little bit. Not to cut you short, but there we are. Not there. Oh, freaking OBS. Let's do that. There we are. That is our hour, and as I am trying to be as consistent as possible, and I have a few other things to take care of this morning. Yes, like Quantum Leap, I hate cliffhangers. I hate being left on the edge and them never finishing it. I loved Quantum Leap. I wish they'd, since they've been doing it, I wish they'd remake some of the older shows. Yeah, Star Trek the original series, though, didn't have a lot, but the series called for the movie, and after the movie, the series kind of lost it. I used to love all the ones, the Tribbles and the invisible guy on the planet. Nope, that was Generation. What was the happy planet that the old captain went to? Whole bunch of old episodes I haven't seen since I was a teenager. But with that, thank you so much for jumping in today, Tim.
hmm. Well, just I want to say, yes, like I say, also relax. And this is my actual voice. Everybody knows me, like, they know I actually talk like this.
Yeah, I understand. And I'm more than happy to have you on.
Oh no, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about. Yeah, I always get the same exact question, so I'm just answering it. Just saving you the trouble of having to answer later on.
All right.
But yeah, we've gone over. So thanks for having me, NumbedSkull. It's been a
Absolutely.
lot of fun.
Just because it's sometimes difficult to hear what you're saying in a quick rate doesn't mean that your opinion or your viewpoint is any less valid to me.
Hmm. Yeah, well, true enough.
All right. Thank you, everybody, so much for showing up today. Please follow Lacey Ann's suggestion there, except with the knives, and hit that like, hit that share. Reaper, I apologize. Daylight savings has been messing me up all month. Uh, Thank you so much,
Yeah.
everybody, and Tim for showing up. This has been another
Um,
great debate. Final
I'm gonna
words?
say it. Let's just still, let's still away with the like say things. That thing just for jerks.
Yes.
Well, no, just say, yeah. I don't know Billy Lee to do it. I don't know, let's all learn Chinese. Yeah, that's a stupid thing to say. Makes absolutely no sense.
Well,
Don't think about it too much. Somebody cut me off before I say more dumb things.
absolutely. And with that, I realize my ending credit that I made is not uploaded yet. So here we're going to go with some music in the opening show.